The person that you are today, you weren't yesterday. The person you are today, you're not going to be tomorrow, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Every single day we change. Hopefully we grow for the better. Yes, Ms. Dumas.
No, it was about 50 of us. Each question was from someone under 30, right? The situation we have now is that we don't know how to do this. You know, we don't know how to do it. And so how, I know it's about time to close, but how do we give us any suggestions on what we can do since we're not asking the question? I'm about answering the question. I'm about being real. I'm not dead yet, so I still have some life in me. And I want to be able to have a relationship where we understand each other.
So that goes back to those original 5 keys. Acceptance, commitment. So again, acceptance, accepting you and the person for who they are. Commitment, that person has to be committed to the relationship and to you. Committed to you. And then we need empathy. We have to have empathy, mutual love and respect. And there was one more. What was that 5th one? Acceptance, empathy, acceptance, mutual love and respect. Those are the 5 things. When you have acceptance, let me tell you all, when you have acceptance and trust, communication comes. Good communication comes once you already have that acceptance and that trust. You need those 2 things before you even have good communication. Does that make sense? All right. Well, I want to thank you all for listening to me and for coming out and supporting Sharon DuMas with this Seasons to Perfection. And if you all want to get a hold of me, get in contact with Sharon.
I just want to say, yes, I'll make sure we give a card, give it to everyone. I just want to say that Season to Perfection will be doing some things coming up. But when we come here to have conversation. We're not coming here just to listen. We want to talk to each other. We want to make this happen. So I want to ask Mr. Keith Bennett to come up. I'm going to say this to you. This is our 3rd annual. And most men I talk to now, all they talk about is the no good women they've met. Every friend of mine is a good woman. I don't know about men. I didn't get it. And I know that there are women who cheat, and I know there are situations, every situation is different. But I don't want to walk out here and I don't have an answer to what I can do next in order to get into a healthy relationship. So I would like to hear from Mr. Keith Bennett some suggestions maybe that he can give us that men are waiting for us to do. I'm not scared. I'm just saying that I want to make this happen. Mr. Bennett, let's give him a round of applause.
Good evening. Thank you, Sharon. Let me just say this has been a good time. Nothing I heard wasn't valued. It's not valuable for us to take back. Having spent 4 decades training, counseling, teaching, encouraging, empowering men, mostly, but women as well. Let me just say this. What I hear constantly coming from men is that they want to be humanized. That they want women to understand that they hurt too, but they shelter that hurt. They have pain too, but they show it in a different way, or they defend it and shield it in a different way. And that you have to respect the fact they're not going to respond as a woman. It's not going to look like a woman in pain. It's not going to look like a woman that's hurt. And so they need that to feel like you empathize with them as a human, understanding they're from a male species. They've been trained all their lives to act differently than you've been trained. And so that's how they respond. That's all they know. They don't know what they don't know, but they do know that's what they've been trained to do. What I would say as I leave here today is that the most important thing that I'm training and been teaching men for about the last 3 decades is that you want to have some intimacy in your relationship, but that intimacy is not physical. It is a spiritual intimacy that has got to be the foundation of a relationship, because everything else is going to be challenged. But if that spiritual bond and relationship there, that's what you got to fall back on. And so I know that's important to me, is that spiritual intimacy. The other thing that I share with men is you got to understand that you have a role in protecting your mate from those things that cause her harm. You cannot look past it. You can't act like you don't see him. You can't ignore him, because every time you do that, you lose a little bit of her heart. And so what I share with couples is that if you put your heart in his hand, that he's trusting you with that heart. When you put his hand he puts in your heart, that's the trust. It starts. Now you got it. What you're going to do with it is going to build that relationship, or it's going to let each other down. And the last thing I will say is this. Every relationship has some red lights, some yellow lights, and green lights. Do not run red lights. If you see something that's warning you, caution. Proceed slowly. And if you think it's a green light, still look both ways.